All right, Shalom. Shalom, this is Gamali Allah out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. Want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, now this is a quick lesson. All right, and it's going to be entitled, What is Phase 2? All right, now this whole coronavirus situation, all right, basically the way they're moving is in phases, all right, because we know that the so-called white man, which is the devil in the Bible, who was Esau in the Bible, which Esau is the seed of the wicked, all right, he works in gradualism, all right, he works in phases, all right, and, the first phase was, everything that's happened so far, which is, first they did a voluntary quarantine, a voluntary lockdown, and then they did a mandatory lockdown until a particular date. And then they pushed it back, and, what else was the first phase? 6 feet, stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask. Everyone wears a mask. Everyone wears gloves, all these things, that's just the first phase, and we're getting ready to go into the second phase of this so-called coronavirus, so, like I said, the title of this lesson is, what is the second phase? All right. And, we're going to go into it. Basically, we're going to go into the next steps that this so-called white man is getting ready to take in response to this COVID-19 pandemic. All right. So that we can be aware, hey, the scriptures say we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right. So we know, hey, we got we get a heads up through the spirit. YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI gives us a look into the future. We got the scoop on what he's getting ready to do. Now, anyway, this is, I got some articles and I'm going to bring out some precepts. This is, it says, Trump says he would mobilize military to distribute coronavirus vaccine when it's ready. All right. President Trump says he would rapidly mobilize the U.S. military to distribute a coronavirus vaccine once it's ready, focusing first on nursing homes and the elderly most vulnerable to deadly complications from the virus. Mr. Trump made the comments during an interview with Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo. All right, we're mobilizing our military and other forces, but we're mobilizing our military on the basis that we do have a vaccine. It's a massive job to give this vaccine. Our military is now being mobilized. So at the end of the year, we're going to be able to give a lot of people very, very, very rapidly. Okay. We will have a tremendous force because assuming we get it, then you have to distribute it. He added, and unless you're mobilized and ready, you're not going to be able to do it for a long time. So we're starting now. All right. So this is a part, this may not be in phase 2 per se. This may be in a later phase because there isn't a vaccine right now. All right. But, these are the things to look forward to. These are the things that they're getting ready to roll out with. Now, there's another thing that I want to get into. As a matter of fact, let's get let me go ahead and get some precepts. I don't want to go on too long without pulling anything. So let's get Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. All right, which, hey, the so-called white man, he decrees unrighteous decrees. All right, which, a decree is basically a law that's put into effect. Okay, I decree that everyone does this, which this guy Bill Gates is basically saying that the whole world needs to be microchipped. A lot of these officials, when you are listening to them, they're saying the same thing. Everyone needs to be tested. Everyone needs to be vaccinated. So when we're talking about the second step of this coronavirus, phase 2 is going to be testing everyone. They want to do this digital wallet. So they want to, do away with cash. They need some sort of verification for people to decipher whether they have been tested or not. Okay. So another thing that they're getting ready to do, which is included in phase 2, all right, which is this HR 6666. Let's see, HR 6666. All right, which, hey, this is not I don't think that's a coincidence that it's all sixes. This man's a devil. All right, but it says, let's see, let's go to it, summary. If this is it, let's see. Okay, HR 6666, it says to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to eligible entities to conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 and related activities such as contact tracing through mobile health units and, as necessary, at individuals' residences and for other purposes. So, hey, they're coming to your front door. Well, first of all, they're going to basically authorize your churches, your churches, your schools, government. It said authorized what did it say? Authorized. Where is it? Eligible entities. So that includes your schools, your churches, stuff that falls under that category. Now, it says that, they're going to be eligible to set up their own testing centers, so they can hire people and set up their own testing. All right. So that's a part of phase 2. It says to hire, train, and compensate and pay expenses of individuals to purchase personal protective equipment and other supplies, and so on and so forth. Now, we just did a lesson, me and the brother Atazawam, the camp head in our in GMS Atlanta. We did a lesson regarding this. What is it? What was it? We just did a lesson on how they're getting ready. They're doing random blood samples from people. The CDC is going around and they're getting, in Georgia, the CDC is getting going around and getting random blood samples from people. All right, this is a part of phase 2. Okay, this is all a part of phase 2. Slack it. Random blood samples, which is voluntary, is a part of phase 1. But phase 2 is they're going to say, no, you have to take this blood. You have to take this blood sample. We need your blood so that we can test you. This is a part of phase 2. Now, there's a word right here in this article that it brings out, and it says contact tracing. Now, let's get into what contact tracing is because this is very important to understand how Esau is thinking, as far as his solutions for this coronavirus. All right. And as a matter of fact, let's get let me get some more precepts. Let's get Daniel 8:25. And it says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Now, the main point being is he shall cause, and through policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. All right, which this devil is crafty, man. You know, he's very crafty, man. You know, and through these policies, through these different things, through these legislations and you know, movements. Okay, this devil is getting this thing going. All right, especially, you know, with these different phases. Now, this is contact tracing. It says, this webpage highlights basic principles of contact tracing to stop COVID-19 transmission. Contact tracing, a core disease control measure employed by local and state health department personnel for decades, is a key strategy for preventing further spread of COVID-19. Immediate action is needed. Communities must scale up and train large contact tracer workforce and work collaboratively across public and private agencies to stop transmission of COVID-19. Certain core principles of contact tracing must always be adherent to. It says contact tracing is a part of the process of supporting patients with suspected or confirmed infection. In contact tracing, public health staff work with a patient to help them recall everyone with whom they have had close contact during the time frame while they may have been infectious. Public health staff then warn these exposed individuals' contacts of their potential exposure as rapidly and sensitively as possible. To protect patients' privacy, contacts are only informed that they have been exposed to a patient with the infection. They are not told the identity of the patient who may have exposed them. So this is what contact tracing is if someone tests positive, that person has to give all their whereabouts. You know, I went here at so-and-so time. I went here at so-and-so time. And, you know, so they got to go back that city or whatever, the authorities, they got to go back and trace everywhere where this person went and everywhere where this all the people who this person would have potentially had contact with, you know, and they got to inform them. Now, China and North Korea, they have a more sophisticated method of contact tracing, okay, because they have different apps in place. As a matter of fact, they have apps in place that tell them when they're close to someone who has the virus. And not only that, but they actually have restricted areas where someone who tests positive, they have restricted areas that they can't go, you know. So this is the next level. The next level is contact tracing, and we gotta get to the bottom. We gotta pinpoint who has the virus and who doesn't, you know. And all it's gonna do is heighten and heighten. You know, it's gonna keep going. With phase two is adding on to phase one. Phase one does not go away. So the mask, the gloves, that is the standard now. That's the standard, you know, and now we're moving forward. We're adding on to mask, gloves, lockdowns, okay? Nothing is going to be taken away, okay? Everything, like I said, this devil works in gradualism, so he's going to continually tighten up restrictions, okay? It says contact tracing is a specialized skill. To be done effectively, it requires people with training, supervision, and access to social and medical support for patients and contacts. Requisite knowledge and skills for contact tracers include, but are not limited to, that's pretty much the point. Here's the point. Contact tracing is a part of the process of supporting patients and warning contacts of exposure in order to stop chains of transmission, okay? All right, so they're saying time is of the essence. So this contact tracing method is phase two, okay, in a nutshell. Okay, they have to trace everyone, okay? Um, Here's another article off of blacklistednews.com. You're being conditioned to live in a smart city, all right, which is a part of phase 2. We know that eventually there's going to be a RFID microchip that's going to roll out, you know. Listen to this. It says, calling Gates a visionary, Cuomo said that the pandemic has created a moment in history when we can actually incorporate and advance Gates' ideas. All the buildings, all these physical classrooms, why with all the technology you have? He asked, apparently rhetorically. Okay. I'm not really going to go into this. You can check out the article, but basically, the next step is these smart cities, man. Everything being done. Part of phase 2 is everything being done virtually. And I did a lesson not too long ago, it was called "Welcome to the Virtual World." Okay, the virtual world is the next step. Okay, this is also a part of phase 2. It says, let's get this: bars and restaurants allowed to reopen if they agree to snitch on customers. Okay. It says, we know everyone is eager to reopen. It's not going to go back to normal. It's what we're calling the new normal. Yeah, and I've been saying that it's not going to go back to normal, and this is the new norm. Okay, it will be the data and not the date that drives not only the decision, but the phased approach to reopen the city of New Orleans. Today, we are outlining those guidelines, what those guidelines will be for the city. Okay. It says contact tracing doesn't involve the government alone. Businesses will proactively track the names and contact information of patrons as a part of the new normal. Hey, so what is phase 2? Phase 2 is you're going to have to get temperature scans when you go to your job. You're going to have to wear a mask, mandatory. You may have to get tested to continue working your job. What else? You're gonna have to stand 6 feet apart, which that's already in effect. You're going to have to give them your name and number wherever you go. That's a part of contact tracing. They're gonna have lines, before you enter a lot of these businesses. They're gonna have lines and say, hey, we need to get your name. We need to see your ID, so that if anything happens, we can trace the contact. If anyone is tested positive, we will know, who is positive and who's not. Okay. And it's gonna come right now. They're tiptoeing. They're not making it. They're not criminalizing it, but pretty soon they're gonna criminalize it. We just read that Trump is mobilizing the troops. Okay. Now let's get this. This is 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Okay, so hey, this devil, all right, which is our adversary, our enemy, all right, he's walking about seeking whom he may devour. Okay, because this is what he's been trying to do for a long time. Okay, let's get this. This is Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. The devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, so this phase 2, they're gonna keep rolling these phases out quickly, man. They know they have a short time. They don't have time to keep tiptoeing and keep, keep playing with you people. Okay, they got to get this thing done. They said in the article, it said time is of the essence, so they got to track these people quickly. All right, and they need cooperate. These governments, they need full cooperation to get contacts, and to, they're saying that this is the solution to stop the spread is through contact tracing. Okay, so that whoever is tested positive, they can, quarantine them, they can identify them, they'll know who's a threat and who's not a threat. Okay, and it says they can even deny you business. Listen to this. It says Washington governor to residents, COVID test deniers will not be allowed to leave home to get groceries. Okay. It says the initiative, it says at this May 12th press conference, Washington State Governor Jay Inslee laid out the plans for the statewide contact tracing initiative. It says the initiative is robust, it is vigorous, and comprehensive, and it needs to be all three to be successful. If we do not succeed on the second stage, which, that goes to show they're in the second phase, like I said, of our efforts, this virus could come back and bite us. Okay? It goes into contact tracing. Let's see. It says, as for those businesses, individuals that don't comply, the governor stated that he confirmed with Attorney General Bob Ferguson there will be sanctions in civil or criminal court. Okay, so now, like I said, it is going to be a criminal offense, for you. If you're tested positive or if you're not tested, then you're assumed to be positive. If you're not tested, you're assumed to be positive, and you're a risk. All right, so they don't want you just strolling up in your grocery store. They don't want you strolling up just anywhere in mass public places. Okay, so a lot of these people, the deniers, people that deny to be tested, okay, you're going to be limited as to where you can go and what you can do. All right, you probably won't be able to work a job. Okay. As far as refusal, it shouldn't come to that, and it really hasn't. We've had a really good success when we ask people to isolate, and they've done so in really high percentages, so we're happy about that and believe we will continue. It says the question is, of course, how long before this mandated testing or starve will be re-upped to mandated vaccination or starve. And I brought out the point last night. We're seeing a pattern here is that Esau is moving. The way he moves is he makes it. He suggests it first, and he makes it voluntary, and then he makes it mandatory. All right, so he's gonna make it voluntary. Oh, well, testing is voluntary. That we got this vaccine is voluntary, but then it's gonna be mandated. It's gonna be stamped. Everyone needs to be vaccinated by this day. A deadline. Esau works in deadlines. All right, gradualism. All right. So, I'll actually let me get one more precept, and then I'll close up. All right, but hey, this is the end, man. We're seeing steps that are being taken. Okay, that this New World Order agenda is really coming to light. This is 2nd Ezra 16. It says, I started, I'll just get 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So eventually it's going to lead to, like I said, we're seeing Trump mobilizing the troops. He's basically putting troops in certain places. They're prepping the scene. They're setting the stage. Okay, so that when they make this thing mandatory, they have everything they need. They got the troops in the right places. They got their testing centers in the right places. They got scanners everywhere you go. They got identification. They got contact tracing. So everything is being set up in this phase 2 to continue to oppress and restrict your freedoms. Okay, all right, and it's gonna lead into all-out chaos and martial law. All right, to where, you know, these troops basically have the right to put you to death. All right, so I'll end off on that, and I'll give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, and Shalom.